What's up, guys? How's it going? This is WolfTV801 and we're back with another video here for the two different builds. I was told that they would not be running the Desert Song ring. They'd be running a different ring for the build, for the attack power build. So we're here to re-accomplish it. So let's go ahead and get some numbers. 5612 for base damage, and we are running the attack power setup here with the bloody gloves and the shoulder pads, giving us over 1,000 more attack power. 459, so that gives us 900 actually. 900 attack power plus another ring that gives us another 200 right there. So we're sitting at 1100 more attack power. Granted, these rolls aren't the best rolls; they could be better, but we're still going to compare. So we did 5,612 damage for that first hit. That's the wrong one. That's not what I wanted for that notepad. There we go. 5,612, and when we crit at base crit damage, we should hit for about 7,295, just like that. Okay, so we take those numbers down with a base attack power of 6,098. Now let's swap the gear back over to the attack, or to the crit damage setup. And now you're going to be running a lot better crit rate, so RNG is going to be a factor in this, but as far as more damage output, we did 4572 here, and our crit should be double that and a little bit more, because we're at 202% crit damage right now, and we could be at, wait a minute, hold up, something's not swapped over. There we go. So our attack power should go back down to 4572. There it is. Boom. And when we crit, it should jump up to 9,235. There we go. Now, if you did that 20 shots and you critted a quarter of the time, half of your shot, or a quarter of your shots are going to be 9,000. So now if you then change it from that, because if you only critted a quarter of the time and you compare the two builds, the attack power one should come out on top. But considering we're going to be running 29% crit rate added on with buffs, we're going to have more crit damage as far as damage potential. Now, the argument could be one might be more sustainable and easier to have compared to the other, which could be very well true depending on your resource management and if you're able to run the buffs constantly. Now, if you can run the buffs constantly for a boss kind of deal, and you have those up in a boss versus boss situation with these two builds, one should outperform the other in that situation where you're only going to have those buffs on for that boss fight. They last for an hour for two of your buffs, and the other one lasts only 30 minutes for your buffs. Same for other buffs that you're going to be running. He says for buffs, let me see, let me go back over Discord and look. I think he said something about buffs. Where is it? AP 1 for 4 category, Sinister Ring, blah blah blah. Pestin, 10 hits, which is better. So your crit damage will go down. Life bill. What was the buffs? Normal damage times the rate, number of hits, plus crit damage rate times number of hits equals total damage. So let's go ahead and do how he did that. So normal damage times the rate times number of hits plus your crit damage times the rate of number of hits. So you're going to take your normal damage times the number of hits and the rate at which you fire them, I guess. The rate's going to be the same, so you don't really need to calculate the rate at you put down damage, in my opinion, because it's the same character, so your attack speed is going to be the same regardless, if that's what he means by rate. He might mean something else by rate. But you take your normal damage time and multiply that by your number of hits, so you do 20 times. That's going to be your normal damage. Then you take your crit damage times rate times number of hits to equal total damage. So if you take 5,405 times 0.76 times 10 plus 8,549 times 0.24 times 10 is 41,382 crit build was 4,572 times 0.76 times 10 plus 8,900. So let's do the same math that he did, but the crits are going to be a little bit different because as you can see, if you're running that ring, your crit's going to be 7,295. So let's go ahead and run the calculator here. So let's take 5,612 times 7.76, 5,612 times 0.76. Let me move my calculator so I can actually get to the point here. 0.76 times 10 is 42,651 plus, see, how do you get 41,000? Oh, I think I hit equal sign. So let me go ahead and see this again. Let me redo this. 5,612 times 0.76 times 10 plus 8549 times 0.76 times 10 would give you 389,121 damage. Okay, that's really weird for a calculator. 389,121 damage. 21. Alright, now let's do the other one. CE 4572 times 0.76 times 10 plus, no, back, 9235 times 0.76 times 10 will equal up to 334,264. 334,264. That's at those crit rates. Okay. But so the attack power one does come out on top in that formulaic way that he's saying. But you're going to have the same crit chance. 24% crit chance. RNG is going to play a big factor here. So if we had 50% crit, so we will crit half of the time, no matter what. We're going to crit half of the time. Now, obviously, in-game, it's going to be a little bit different because RNG plays a big factor. You could shoot 10 shots and never crit, even at 50% crit rate. Whereas you might shoot 10 shots another time and crit all 10. That's just how the number rolls. So that's another variable that we cannot necessarily test. On paper, if you critted for the exact same amount, if you had the exact same amount of crit, 50%, let's go ahead and run those numbers. Because, like I said, there is a variable that we cannot attest for, simply being the fact that the rate at which you crit is going to be different with how many times you crit when you fire that arrow. So if we have 4,572, and we multiply that by 2.02, because that's my current crit damage, we get 9,235, okay? So we're going to take 9,235, or 9,295, I apologize, 295, and we're going to multiply that by 10, because half of those shots should be criticals out of 20 shots, right? And that's just that initial shot. That's not counting in any of your other subsequent shots. There is more to the combo than there's this initial shot. So we're just comparing the first shot. There are so many more combos in the combo system that will differentiate the overall damage that you're going to do in a damage rotation. So we're going to see about getting some numbers from just a simple combo here in a moment. So we do 10 times that's 92,950 damage, right? Because it's multiples of 10. That's making it easy. Because we're splitting up those 20 shots in half, because half of them are going to be base damage and half of them are going to be crit damage. That is the takeaway here. Half are going to be crit, half aren't. Now, if they were both, 1 for 1 and one was base damage for 10, you're going to have more base damage, but you're going to have less crit damage. Where the other one was have lower base damage but higher crit damage. So we got 92,950. 92,950, right? Okay, and then you would add that to your base damage, which is 45,720. It should be. Because it's multiples of 10, so. But we're going to put it in the I hate this calculator sometimes. Because it kind of keeps your last inputted stuff even if you hit CE, and it'll add on to the top of it for some freaking reason. Times 10. Right? So 10 shots, you do 45,720. 1,720. Okay? Okay, now let's do the other build. So we had a base damage of 5,612. 5,612, which should be 56,620. Because again, we're splitting this up. So we have 56,000, comma 520. Space, shift plus, because keyboard, plus 7,295 times 10. So 7,295 times 10 is 72,950 plus 72,950 plus 56520, which totals out to 129,000 damage, equals 129,470. Now if we take the other one, 92,950, and we add 45,720 to it, we will come out with 138,000 damage. So therefore, we do more. By a lot. 138,000. That's almost 10,000 more damage. 670. Almost 10,000 more damage. Now, this is all on paper, of course. RNG is going to play the biggest factor. You might have better luck running something else. You might have better luck compared to the other. It all really depends on the enemy. So we do 3, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 9 on our subsequent shot. So I need to get each individual shot. So I'm going to take off my helmet and anything that gives me crit for the moment. Oh, not that. Mostly because I need to, except for the bow, I want to get just the base of my crit. Of course it crits. 4, 5, 7, 2. Second shot is 3, 4, 5, 9. 3, 4, 5, 9. 4, 5, 7, 7, 2. Two, 2, 1, 2. Put an X2 for 2 shots. And then you go into arrow rain, which is 3 shots at 2, 8, 5, 3. 8, 5, 3 by 3. Alright, so we're going to go 2, 1, 4, 3. 4, 7, 7. 2, 1, 4, 3. 4, 7, 7. I don't remember what the last number was. 4771 times 3. Okay, so this will equal out just as a base damage of what? So let's go ahead and do the math here. 4572 plus 3, 4, 5, 9 plus 2212 2212 plus 2212. Now I could have done the multiples, but I didn't want to, plus 2852. BT Legend, thank you very much for the host, man. I really appreciate that. Plus 2852 plus 2852 plus 4771 plus 4771 plus 4771 is a total of 37,266 damage, right? Okay, so that's what our base combo would do without any crit damage, just straight base at the attack power that we're at. 37,266. 266. So now if we did that again, our attack power, our overall combo should be more with that. So we could take that number and divide that by 2. And then we could take, now how, we wouldn't be able to do that way, would we? Because I was trying to figure out a way we could see, like, combo wise, like if we critted half the times, we could take like 1 out of 3 of the numbers and make it a critical of 2.02. And we could take, that's harder to do. You'd have to have it multiply that by 20 to get your total 20 time repetition combo. But that's really what it comes down to. Honestly, you could go either way. If you want to have more damage in a rotation, and if you have that 50% crit buff compared to the other one, the crit and crit damage build will be more, because if we did the same thing, like I said, 56,520 for 10 shots of base damage, plus 72,950 damage for 10 shots being crit damage, equals out to 129,470 damage with the attack power setup, compared to the crit damage setup of 92,950 for crit damage, plus 45,720 for base damage, would be 138,670. I don't see where he's saying sustainability is an issue, because you will crit half of the time regardless. Yeah, maybe in some instances you might have more damage compared to this build if you don't crit as much as the other build. If they're both running the same crit rate, one build, like I said, might crit 18 out of 20 shots. The other one might only crit 10 out of the 20 shots. And it can go either way. The other build could crit 15 out of 20 shots, and then the other one could only crit 8 out of the 20 shots. That is what RNG is. RNG is a big factor in this that we cannot attest for. Like, we don't know the numbers of when you fire that shot, what is the chance? 50%. What is the chance that it's actually going to be there? We have 50%, but there's, the background roll, and then they play into the resistances of the enemy as well. There's a lot of controversy with that. I can see where he's coming from, and in a sustainability standpoint, I understand where he's coming from, but he also has to understand that if we're both running 50% crit rate, 50% of our shots will be crits, regardless of the build. 50% will be a crit. And if 50% of those crits are on the crit damage build, you will outperform the attack power build. Now, you don't outperform it as much if they were running the Desert Song Ring, because that extra 27% crit damage makes up some damage there. But he's saying that they wouldn't run that. You would run a Sinister Ring instead, which is 377 attack power. Granted, like I said, I'm about 160 attack power difference. That's maybe 150, 160 at most. I mean, we'll just call it 1-for-1 here for the damage for the ring. 160 attack power. That's going to add in a little bit more damage, but when you're sitting at almost a 10,000 damage difference, that extra 120 damage isn't going to amount to much. Granted, you are also missing, you're going to have about 1.4k, we're sitting at about 11, so 300 damage difference. A 300 damage difference isn't going to make a big difference when you're almost 10,000 damage difference with a straight attack build without any crit damage, compared to an attack build with crit and a ring giving you an extra bit of crit damage. That is the better attack build setup, in my opinion. You take it as it is. You take it as you want. If you want to take my word for it or take somebody else's word, cool. You do you ultimately in the day. If you want to run your attack power build and you enjoy it, cool, go for it. If you like the crit damage build, go for that. I'm not saying either which way. I'm just giving you the pure hard facts and the numbers, because in game the numbers are different compared to on paper. On paper, you could say this, you could say that. Like I said, on paper, if you critted 50% of the time, comparing the two builds, the crit damage build wins. But like I said, there's that unknown RNG variable that's going to come in play, and that's going to change up the game. So one might be better than the other at one point in time, but generally, your crit/crit damage build will outperform the attack power build. There's just, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You're doing double the damage. Even if you had 0%, even if you had only 190% crit damage, you're still doing more. I increased my crit damage by about 10 compared to the video. I had 194. I went up to 202. That's an 8% increase, and my damage went from 8,500 something, I believe, or 8,910 was the crit, to 9,235. We gained 400 damage just off of that small 8% increase. Now, if I could go to the market and give myself a 50% crit buff by getting the 29% add-on to my 24.4%, that'd be different. But you have 1% base crit damage, right? This build gives me 5%. We're going to round up here. So you're at 6% base crit damage right there. This could go up to 8.1% crit chance. So could your shoes. So could your belt. If you had a belt, your necklace gives you 8.1. So you have 4 pieces that give you 8.1, which will total out to 32% crit. Then you add in your weapon, which can be anywhere from 3 to 5.21% crit, and you're sitting at about 36 to 34% crit damage, or crit chance, I apologize. Then you add in another 25% or 29% from your buffs, and you're sitting over 60% crit chance. 6% of the time you're going to crit. Regardless of the build, the crit damage one will win if you're critting that often. Again, RNG. RNG is the big divider in the two builds. But, like I said, generally, the more damage build will be your crit damage one. I'm sorry to the person in Discord. I'm not disagreeing with them that one might be more sustainable. Both builds are susceptible to the same RNG. On paper, that's what it is. Alright, guys, I think I've beat the horse enough here. I haven't really been paying attention to the chat, so I apologize there because I've been trying to write numbers down and everything. But that'll be all for me, guys. Thank you all for joining me for the recording part of the video. I'm going to go back to my stream now. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you later.